Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Matt Modi with OddsJam, and in this video, what we're going to be doing is locking in some NBA player props. So I have four for you guys for tonight that I really like. Yesterday, I had my first bad day. In a couple days, I went 1-2 on my 3-player props. It was a light NBA slate, so didn't have a ton of selection. Maybe I forced one when I shouldn't have, but regardless, the bets still count as losses. So 1-2 yesterday, ending my hot streak on these player props. But guess what? That just means that there's an opportunity to start another hot streak. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, using OddsJam to find these sharp, mathematically profitable player props for the NBA. And let's just get into it. So the first one that I'm going to lock in here is Dejounte Murray over 6.5 rebounds. So I would like to, and this is at plus 130 on PointsBet, I would like to put a half unit on this one. PointsBet has me limited. Normally, the max they'll let me bet is to win 50, but I guess not even in this case. So the max that I am allowed to bet on this one is $19.23. But for those of you at home, I would recommend putting a half unit on this play. Dejounte Murray over 6.5 rebounds, plus 130 at PointsBet. So let's chat about this one. The no vig odds, what OddsJam calculates this to be, it's insane value. Should be priced at plus 117. Insane value here. Getting it at plus 130 at PointsBet. 13 cents higher. I guess more like closer to 12 cents higher than what the no vig odds calculate. And for those of you who are new to this channel, the no vig odds, the way this works is OddsJam calculated a bunch of different betting opportunities. By a bunch, I mean like thousands and thousands of data points, millions of data points, betting opportunities to determine what sportsbooks do the best job at pricing odds. And then once that determination has been made from all of that back testing, they removed the vig from those sportsbooks using a weighted average, so giving heavier weight towards the sharper books. So that's how these no vig odds are calculated. Now, every bet that appears on the OddsJam positive expected value page is going to be mathematically profitable. So this is kind of just to give you the process behind of how it works and why it's such a valuable tool. The stuff that I like to do before I decide whether I should place a bet or not is I like to look into the markets themselves. So if you click into a play, which is exactly what I did here, you can pull up where every sportsbook prices this player prop at. And we can see that PointsBet has this priced at plus 130. And look across the board. So FanDuel is about halfway between them and the other books at plus 114. BetOnline is at plus 110, still closer to the average. And then look, Caesars minus 101, DraftKings plus 100, FoxBet plus 105, Pinnacle plus 102. All of these sportsbooks have this market, this bet, this player prop, this rebound prop for Dejounte Murray priced about plus 105, plus 100, even money, something like that. And PointsBet is giving that to you all the way up at plus 130. So even though this is a bet where you're getting a pretty good, it's plus money. So obviously the odds of the bet hitting aren't as high, but we're getting such an awesome value that these are player props that I don't think should be avoided just because of the odds themselves. Obviously, if you're betting higher odds, you don't have to have as high of a win percentage. So, if I bet 2 bets at plus 130 odds, if I break even, if I go 1-1, then I'll profit from that interaction. And really, sports betting using OddsJam is to be profitable and to make money in the long run. So this is going to be my first play, Dejounte Murray over 6.5 rebounds, plus 130 at PointsBet. Now, everything you should do, you should track your bets. OddsJam, you can now sync your bets. So you see this little alert here. You already linked your PointsBet account. So if you add this to your bet tracker, you have a duplicated bet. Guess what? I don't need to manually add bets on PointsBet to my bet tracker anymore. So if you're using OddsJam, I would definitely recommend syncing your bets. And if you currently aren't an OddsJam member, I would at least recommend using the bet tracker. It's completely free. And all of this insight you see on my dashboard, it comes from using the OddsJam bet tracker. So as you can see, I've had a little bit of a rough stretch this week, as I mentioned. Yesterday didn't go so well. Past 2 weeks have been incredible. This is all from using the OddsJam bet tracker. So I would definitely recommend signing up. It's completely free. Track your bets. And this is going to be my first betting opportunity. So let me refresh this, make sure none of the odds of what I was going to lock in changed on me. And it looks like one of them did, unfortunately, but we can still go through and see. So the next play, this is actually going to be my favorite play of the night, is this Jalen Brunson under 1.5 made threes. This bet is at minus 118 at BetRivers. BetRivers has the same odds as Barstool and Unibet, so I'm actually going to lock this in on Barstool because BetRivers started to limit me. But the play is Jalen Brunson under 1.5 made threes. This is going to be a full unit play. Jalen Brunson, so this bet has been locked in. This one I do need to add to my bet tracker because you can't sync Barstool as of right now. But just look at this play. So no big odds, minus 126. Like I said, anything that pops up here is going to be mathematically profitable, going to be a positive EV bet. The real stuff that you want to look out for is where every other book prices it. And this is a monster value. Minus 118 at BetRivers. Look at every other book. The closest book is FanDuel at minus 132. Then it's PointsBet at minus 140. But then look across the board. Caesars, minus 154. DraftKings, minus 150. BetOnline, and this one's important because BetOnline is a very sharp sports book, minus 143. Pinnacle, this is the most important one because Pinnacle is the sharpest sports book in the world, prices this at minus 153. Now, another one I like to look at, so the three books that I like to look at specifically for player props, I mentioned BetOnline and Pinnacle. DraftKings is also a pretty sharp sports book, specifically for player props. I don't know if they look at like their DFS data and use that to price their player props, but in our back testing, DraftKings was actually pretty sharp for player props. So all in all, a monster outlier looking at this at the BetRivers line at minus 118. So this is going to be my second play. It was my favorite of the four, but looks like the odds changed on some other ones. This is going to be my second play, Jalen Brunson under 1.5 made threes. So let me give this page a refresh, get the most up-to-date odds, and let's just see if there are other bets that I like that I can talk about live with you. So let's look at this Jarrett Vanderbilt under 8.5 rebounds. And yes, this is an awesome play. Awesome play. I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in. This is going to be another play that I'm going to put a full unit on. So I'm going to go to the NBA and I want to go to the Jazz versus the Mavericks. How about the Jazz? The Jazz and the Spurs got to be the two most surprising teams in the NBA as of right now. So Jarrett Vanderbilt under 8.5 rebounds. I'm going to put another full unit on this one. $100 minus 107 odds. Looks like I can put 92.98. I'm already limited on this one. But for those of you at home, this should be 92.28, excuse me. But for those of you at home, this should be worth a full unit play. Jarrett Vanderbilt under 8.5 rebounds. So let me add this one to my bet tracker. Don't want to forget. So I put 92.28. So let's chat about this one. No big odds at minus 118. Just an insane 11-cent difference. Getting this at BetRivers /Barstool /Unibet at minus 107. And same thing here. Look at where the other books price it. It's just amazing the difference that you can see from these sports books when you will compare them, especially for player props, because player props have a little bit higher volatility. Sports books have they limit player props more, as you can tell. Main lines on PointsBet, I don't have any issues with. Main lines on BetRivers and Barstool and BetMGM, I don't have any issues with. But player props, they limit. So sports books that limit the money that they accept on player props are going to have wide-ranging odds. So because BetRivers limits how much they accept, you can get some pretty awesome lines because they don't accept as much money, so their lines don't move as well as they should with the market. So compare them to the rest of the market. Pinnacle, minus 143. BetOnline, minus 135. DraftKings, minus 140. And even the other books that we don't necessarily view as the sharpest, PointsBet, minus 130. FanDuel, minus 132. It's just insane, this outlier here at minus 107 at all of these sports books. So this is my third play, Jarrett Vanderbilt under 8.5 rebounds. Let me give this a refresh. Let me find one more play to round it out. So let's look at this Trey Young, see if this is a good value here. Right now I'm iffy on it. Another thing I like to do for points, because these numbers are a little bit higher, if you open them up in a new tab, you can see where other sportsbooks are pricing it. So let's see where sportsbooks price. Yes, okay, so this is a good play. So Trey Young over 27.5 points. This is a good play. I would like to put maybe 3/4 of a unit on this one. Whoops, I typed in the wrong thing. I want to look for Trey Young. So I want his point total. Again, I'm not going to be able to get as much as I want. I'd like to put 3/4 of a unit on this one, which is $75, but they're going to limit me. They're going to say I can bet 32.49. But for those of you at home, I would recommend putting 3/4 of a unit on this one. So for me, that's $75. But if you don't feel like doing the math of calculating 3/4 of a unit and you either want to do half or full, I would actually round this one up to a full unit because this is a pretty awesome play here. PointsBet has it at -130. DraftKings prices this at -175, which is insane. And then if you open up the event page and view it in a new tab, look at where other books price it. 28.5 is what FanDuel, BetRivers, and some daily fantasy companies have, Prize Picks. And BetRivers favors him going over this number at a point higher. And then 29.5 looks like BetOnline. That's very important. That's a sharp sportsbook. Prices it at 29.5, as does FoxBet. And BetOnline has it at about 50-50, 2 points higher. And obviously, that's a big deal. Like 2 points is a big deal because, like, you know, the difference between 27 and 29 is obviously a huge difference compared to like a total at like 230 and 232, right? It's still important, and you always are going to want to beat the closing line. But doing it on a point total like this is obviously a much bigger deal. So this is going to be my fourth and final betting pick. Trey Young over 27.5 points, -130 at PointsBet. And that's it. So those are my 4 NBA player props for you guys today. New hot streak starts today. So if you're tailing these bets, let me know. Would love to hear it. Comment on the video. And then if you want to reach out to me individually, you can at Jedi Modai. As you can see, I used to be this big Star Wars fan. So the Jedi Modai comes from that. Regardless, hit me up on Twitter there. I post more plays on Twitter. Not always able to get everything on YouTube. But that's it. So I appreciate you guys watching and have a good one.